Hey, good morning. I'm going to kick off today's vlog talking a little bit more about my personal history, about how I got to where I am at the moment in continuation from yesterday's topic, and introduce something that I think I'm going to talk about quite a bit more in future episodes as I start this journey with you, and that's the idea of relationships and how I believe relationships should work and how I have been viewing relationships in the past. And I will start off by saying that along the way, when I was telling you yesterday about my story of building my own business, in that period, in the 10-year period that it took me to set up and start and build my own advertising agency, there was an amazing woman in my life, and we lived together for 4 years, and we bought a house together. And in terms of how that relationship was supposed to look, everything was going exactly the way that it should. We had gone through the normal phases of dating and getting to know each other and getting to know each other's families, and we bought the house together, and everything was on paper looking exactly the way that it should. And I think in terms of how the next logical step for a relationship from there was this idea of getting married. And I mentioned in a previous blog that my parents have been married for 42 years, and they've been together solidly that entire time, and they're a shining example of what a monogamous relationship should look like. I was petrified about the idea of having to spend the rest of my life with this woman that I'd been with for 4 years. I loved her dearly, and we had an amazing connection, and everything was exactly the way that it should be. But the idea of taking the bold step of committing to her and her only for the rest of my life frightened the bejesus out of me. And I think it was at the basis of our eventual parting of ways, where I had lied to myself and probably to her to say that, I wasn't ready to commit and all these other things. And I think if I was to be truly honest, again, looking back in hindsight, I think it was the idea of this having to spend the rest of my life with one person. And I think it was something that I think was at the core of me, something that was really deeply unsettling. So when her and I went our separate ways, I believe that was in like 2008, I continued to build my advertising agency, and things went really well. The business, as I mentioned in yesterday's vlog, was good. The business was making money, but I was truly, truly unsettled inside myself. I filled my life with partying. I filled my life with drugs, going out. I filled my life with stuff. I bought clothes and jet skis and stuff, just things that I believed that I would make me feel better. And I guess on paper, everything looked the way that it should. I was single. I was making money, and my business was doing well, but I was truly, truly restless. And I think the combination of these factors and the things that eventually led me to the point where I decided to sell my business to my partner that I spoke about in yesterday's vlog was almost a melting pot of all of these things. This idea of feeling uneasy about how I just ended this 4-year relationship, then filling my life with things that I thought would make me feel better, things that you buy with money, my business making cash, and just this emptiness of like, I've got all this stuff, and now what do I want to do with it? Do I want to buy another house, a bigger car? Do I want to have more clothes? What is it that I want? And I think it was really this unsettling and empty emotion inside me that got me to a point where I decided that I wanted to get out of my business and initially go and travel for 6 months, which was the start of the next stage of my life. I don't have an answer in terms of what I think a relationship should look like. I am not against the idea of monogamy at all. I'm not against the idea of polyamory at all. I have only really started to think about this as a topic in very recent time, and I'm not 100% sure what that should look like, and I'm putting this out there only because this is part of my journey. I think it's part of understanding who I am, understanding how I fit into this world, and how people in my life come into my life, and in what capacity and for what duration. So I don't know if that's going to resonate with anybody. I am just putting it out there because it's something that I think about a lot, and it's some conversations that I've started having with some people that are close to me. And I've listened to quite a few podcasts on the subject. I've read quite a few books on the idea of relationships and how they are potentially changing the definition of what a relationship could be and what is acceptable as a relationship. And I'm going to tackle it again in future vlogs. But for today, I just wanted to give you the next piece of who I am and where I am at my life at the moment. And yeah, if you want to stay in touch, thefreedomfighter.net/vlog. I will probably see you again tomorrow. I'm actually headed out of Istanbul again. I'm headed down to a place called Dalaman, which is close to a place called Butterfly Valley. Google image search that, it looks beautiful. And I'll be back in Istanbul on Sunday. Peace.